Hello, my name is Sean. I'm with Sobriety Society. I'm with Robert Beatty, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his business. And how you doing, Robert?
I'm doing great today, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Okay, wonderful. So the first thing that we kind of want to learn about you is um, all of us have a story. Most of us in this industry, we run into a situation somewhere in our life where we have a major shift and we decide we really want to help people in the wellness industry. So that being said, what is the mission of your business, and what is your personal mission, and how do those two align with each other?
Well, I think if we start backwards and work forwards, that my personal mission, like my history was in film and television has been my background history. And I had a very successful career in film and television through the 90s. I had a television show that I worked on that became hugely successful, that I was working on and around. And I moved from that into other film production, working with studios like Warner's and moving into feature film production, sitcoms, documentaries. And I made a career out of it that was highly successful. For me, what I didn't understand is that with that lifestyle of my career also came a lifestyle of drug and alcohol use.
Right.
Because of my heritage, being Native American in my heritage, what I found out from my family genetics is that I was alcoholic, and I didn't know that. And nobody ever told me that.
Right.
Nobody told me when I picked up my first drink that it was going to lead to dependence. And nobody told me that dependence was going to lead to trying other things. And then, nobody told me when I picked up that first hit of heroin that it was going to take me to a career loss, financial devastation, divorce, loss of everything. And nobody told me I would end up homeless and on the streets of Salt Lake City for 2 years either.
Right.
And so if you look at my personal mission, when I found sobriety, I started that journey 15 years ago.
Okay.
15 years ago, I made a decision that I was going to find sobriety, and it took 7 more years for me to find it. And I only found that through spiritual intervention and psychic change, and that was the only way I could find it. And that personal journey took me to Everest. It took me to living in Nepal for a year. It took me to self-seeking instead of not seeking, but I would say self-evaluation instead of self-seeking, and
Okay.
setting realistic goals for things that I wanted to do. And one of which was to give back what was given to me freely.
Right.
And so I went back to school, at the age of 45 years old. I made a decision to go back to school, finish a master's degree, headed for Purdue University to finish a master's degree, become a counselor, setting my sights on owning my own treatment center. And I opened my first treatment center, with that passion in mind that I was going to help other people.
So was that an inpatient treatment center?
Yes, in Park City.
Okay. And you still have that?
No, we sold that, and currently I own the Retreat at Zion in Rockville, which is right outside the gates of Zion National Park.
Okay.
And our business has thrived for 5 years. We opened in 2013. So my personal mission is to help as many people as I can battling a devastating disease of addiction, whether that's drug addiction, food addiction, sexual addiction, pornography, alcohol, it doesn't matter. That's what we do. The mission of the Retreat at Zion aligns with that mission statement. Our business mission statement is the same: to help as many people as we can.
Okay.
It's not a financial mission statement for us. It still continues to be a personal mission statement to help
Right.
people. If I was in this for the money, I would have quit a long time ago. I can tell you that.
So you've been rather successful then.
Yes, we have,
Right.
but and we've helped a lot of people. And
Yeah. And we'll look into that, a little bit of what success means to you.
yeah,
Um, so with your, and my mission is, I work with wellness centers to attract more people, so that they can help addicts reconnect with their loved ones and live the life they love. But my personal mission is that just to help every addict on the planet recover, get well, and have a life of purpose. So my personal mission with my business mission, which is through writing the book, Sober on Purpose, is really what I'm all about. So I think a lot of us are in that same state. But when it comes to your core service at Zion that you're doing now, what is um, the service that you provide to the industry? Like, what's the main thing that you do?
well, the main thing we do is residential inpatient treatment. That's
Okay.
the main core business. We do offer social detoxification, but our main core business is residential inpatient treatment. Pain management comes in and more of a life rehab. I have people say things like, I don't want to go to a drug and alcohol rehab. My answer is always quick and always the same. And I'll tell them that's really convenient because I don't operate one.
Right.
Well, that's really great. We think alike.
Right.
And, our business model and our modality is not a drug and alcohol rehab center.
Mm-hmm.
We're a life center. We're figuring out what the core issues are instead of dealing with just the solution. Just the solution was the drug use and alcohol use, as you know.
Right.
And I think there's more to rehabilitation and recovery than just focusing on what that solution was. I think we believe you have to focus on the core issues of finding out why somebody is suffering the way that they're suffering and deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do. We do that through a lot of adventure therapy and equine and hypnotherapy and all of the modalities that we deploy.
Right.
Because of where we're at, it makes sense.
Okay. So then what are your current goals for your business, and what kind of impact are you wanting to make with those goals being achieved?
I think that our current goals with this business are to operate the business at a max capacity. We're very small. We're only licensed for 13.
Right.
Our immediate goals are to increase our licensure to 20, because we do have the capacity out here to do that. Our center is quite large. It's 12,000.
Okay.
And to impact more people at one time. And then the long-term goal will be to duplicate this model and build a second location that operates in the same manner that we operate in.
Right.
And offers the same exact services, because our program works and some programs don't.
Right.
I can tell you that our program works.
Yeah. I was actually rehabbed in the mountains when I was 14. And that lasted for 3 years. But I was young.
Yeah.
So I was sober from 15 to 18, and then ended up in a 12-step program at 18. Started drinking again at 18, and within 3 months I was in a 12-step program. So a lot of times I find with the really young people, for me anyhow, it was a jump start to a lifelong of living my dreams. I get emotional during these interviews, and it's gratitude is the emotion. It's not sadness. So that may come out.
Sure.
So what is so do you work with mostly men, women, or is there
both.
an age range?
Both. Our age range is 18 to 65.
Right.
I would say that our census on age is probably 30 to 40, and men and women about half and half, about 50%. Usually I take that back. Usually more men than women, but we do have a women's side of the facility and a men's side of the facility.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of conversations people have about that, about the women ratio to the men ratio. What do you think that why that is?
I think that women have a harder time coming into treatment.
Mm,
It's harder for them. It's harder for them to make the connection mentally that this is something that they have to do, right? Um, Men are easier to bring them in, get them to understand that they don't have to suffer like they're doing.
right.
Women have other obligations of family and children that men can leave to go seek treatment.
Right.
So it is easier for a male to come into treatment than a female. That's just
Right.
a given.
Right. So so what does success look like for your wellness center, and how do you measure that success?
Well, I would like to be able to tell you that success is 100% sobriety for every person that comes through here, but that's unrealistic.
Right.
And you know that as well as anybody else. And then there's the old saying of progress, not perfection.
Right.
But I will tell you that our people, for the people that come to this center that actually do engage in treatment, you come here and become a student in recovery, because that's what we call our people. We never call them patients.
Right.
They're not patients, they're not clients, they're students in recovery, gaining an education on how to beat the disease of addiction and how to conquer it. And for those people, we find 100% success. We find not progress, we find success for the ones that actually do immerse themselves into the program, a 30-day program, 30 to 60 days.
So would it be fair to say that what success looks like in your program is when people fully immerse themselves in your program, you have 100% success?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people that find success in, at least in this center, and this is no different for them than it was for me, because I've been to 7 different treatment centers in my drinking and using career. And I've never found sobriety inside of a treatment center. I found my sobriety outside of a treatment center.
Right.
That didn't work. The process did not work for me because I was not willing to give myself fully to the process.
Right.
I didn't commit. I was there because mom and dad wanted me there, or wife wanted me there, or children wanted me there. I was not there for me.
Right.
That's what success looks like. Success looks like when somebody, to me, success looks like when somebody finally understands and the light bulbs go on and they commit to be in this center for themselves and nobody else.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you get to see that light bulb come on too. That's always a joy.
And they find sobriety, long-term sobriety.
Right. And then how do you measure that success? Is there a way that you do a follow-up or
oh yeah. Or is it... Yeah, our follow-ups are pretty extensive. We follow up with aftercare planning, relapse prevention planning. We spend a lot of time in our center educating our students on relapse prevention, on aftercare planning, life planning. We go through all those things. So I would say success in measuring success really looks like measuring who stays in touch, who doesn't. Are they engaged in their recovery?
Right.
You have to be engaged in your recovery to be in recovery. It won't chase you. You have to chase it. Yeah.
Right. So then, so what are some of the challenges you come across, or maybe the main thing that prevents you from having the impact that you want to have?
Oh, I would say it's it always equates to finance.
Right.
If I had more finances, more availability to capital, I would build a better center. right
Right.
here. I would add on. I would, you know,
Right.
yeah, it's always about finance. I would put in more activities, more of this, more of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually went when I went to treatment. Um, my treatment cost $350 for my outpatient because I was in my 20s when this all took place, and then the place they closed down. I was the very last. The very last. What did you call your recovery students?
Student in recovery.
Student
Yeah.
in recovery. So I was their last, one of their last. Well, I was their last student in recovery, and it's worked for me, you know. Um, but I had to do things outside of that, 1,000 different things. I mean, I'd love to do your retreat, just even in my current recovery.
Come on. I have people all the time take a look at our website and they say, geez, I should go back out so I can come in.
I know. It looks, well, and you don't really even have to go back out. I mean, I believe in recovery. I believe in wellness. I believe in treatment and detox. I believe in sober living.
I have people come here who already are in recovery. I have people come who have mental health issues and they need our help. They need to recheck and realign with spirituality. They come here to connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do it all.
I was in a sober living home at 10 years sober and at 14 years sober because it was a safe place for me to be.
Sure.
And for me, it just made sense.
Yeah.
So with all these challenges that you have, and with that the financial challenge of making things better, like how does it make you feel when you run into that like that wall?
We just for me, Sean, it's easy. It's not my deal, it's God's deal, and I turn it over to Him.
Right.
I do my part. I don't worry about the outcome.
Right.
That's how I maintain my level of positiveness about that. It's His program for me, and it will happen the way it's supposed to happen.
Right. And that's a lot how I feel. Like when I hit a wall, it's like I've hit so many walls that I know right around the corner you get that phone call and you're like, wow, that was out of the blue. I'd never even expected that to happen.
Leave it up to higher power and it'll happen.
Yeah, just stay aligned and everything.
Yeah, stay connected.
So now, what have you tried to actually solve that challenge? Are there various different things you've tried in order to get there? Like one of the promises in one of the programs I'm in is we don't live beyond our means, and we don't let our means define us, and we're not defined by our means.
Correct.
So when I was younger, I bought a Mercedes and I looked great and wonderful, but it was a $600 a month payment, right?
Yeah.
Now I still have that same Mercedes, but it's paid for.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better, and I'm not having my means define me anymore. I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser. So, so what have you tried to solve these challenges?
Well, it's we put like 100% of our revenue profitability is put into promotion, advertising, trade shows.
Okay.
Like where I met you.
Challengers, like, how do you overcome them so you can make a bigger difference?
Well, I'm not too sure that I think the numbers would make a bigger difference, but for me, it's like I was telling you earlier. It's sometimes I actually find myself turning people away, even though we're only licensed for 13, and the entrepreneurial business side of me says we want to be at 13 all the time, which is ideal. But because we run such a specialized program of treatment and recovery, sometimes I end up turning people away. When I say turn them away, I turn them away to another center.
Right.
That deals with their issues and not mine.
Right.
Because the people who come here are like, it's not that I discriminate. It's just that I want the people that come here to be the right fit for our program.
Right.
And so I overcome the obstacles are not really that great for us. It's just doing marketing and doing things that we need to do to attract the right people here each month.
Right.
And
yeah, that's admirable. That's admirable because my tagline is, we don't sell hope, we fulfill it. And that goes right in line with my tagline is I don't want you to come to me and hope that this is going to work. I actually want to fulfill that hope and let you know it will work, but there's only certain people we can work with. And there's other people where we can refer them, just not a fit. We would love to work with you. One of my sayings is, best friends don't always make the best roommates.
Yeah, very true.
So, so who else have you used, or have you considered hiring in order to overcome many of the challenges? Have you ever thought of doing like a GoFundMe, or how have you considered applying different various things for that?
We have a nonprofit side that we get private donation and alumni donation, and people that donate to help somebody who needs that, who maybe doesn't have enough money to pay a copay or doesn't have enough money to pay for treatment, and they fit our model, and we've vetted them, and we believe that they are a right fit. And I have to tell you, and my partners and my staff will tell you this more than I will, that I give more treatment away than I end up charging for it.
Right.
And sometimes if the bills are paid and the groceries are paid and the staff is paid, and even if I'm not paid and I feel somebody really needs to be in our facility, I'll scholarship.
Right.
Because that to me is more important than enough money to be here. And I think that takes it takes a lot of vetting to get to that place. It takes me a lot to get there, but I do it all the time.
Right.
Usually every month. And we usually have somebody in this program that's the recipient of a scholarship program every single month.
Right. So you do scholarships, but have you ever outsourced anything to other people besides the nonprofit to help you build up your business?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No, we're too small. We don't need to. We're too small. It's just a little bit of advertising, word of mouth. We stay relatively okay.
Right. A lot of this industry is referral.
Yeah. Making sure people know who we are, what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would it look like if you could solve all of these challenges and just have your business flow freely? I mean, if you could overcome them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think that if all of our challenges were overcome, financial being the number one, and it was flowing freely, what it looks like for us is we are expanding to the places that I want to go, Hawaii being one of them. I would like to build a center in Seattle.
Right.
That's always been a dream, and potentially San Diego. And, places where adventure therapies could be deployed, because that's really what we do.
Right. So you said Hawaii being one of them?
Yes, Maui.
Yeah.
I have property in Maui, so.
And San Diego, there's so much. San Diego is so tightly squeezed together.
Yeah.
You have like the ocean, the desert, and the mountains all within a half hour, it seems.
Yeah.
So that would be a great place.
Yeah.
So what would happen if you weren't able to fix all of these challenges or all the problems? What would happen to your center if those couldn't be overcome, or or if your dream, if you can't just solve this, what would happen?
Nothing. I mean, we're okay. We're
Yeah.
self-sustaining, and we
Right.
stay where we're at, right? We don't grow. But
Right.
really, the answer is that we just don't grow the way that we'd like to grow.
Right.
You know,
And
we're working on those solutions every day. We will find them.
so have you like with your business model, have you read the E-Myth?
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of, he talks about McDonald's, and McDonald's was more of a real estate deal than a restaurant deal. Like
Right.
it first came out as, well, these are the systems and the processes. These are why all the French fries taste the same. Like that movie, The Founder, was just inspiring to me, even though he was kind of a, but then it was like you could only build a McDonald's on the real estate that you owned. And then now it was a real estate deal. So with your business model, is that written in such a way to where you can multiply it throughout San Diego, Hawaii, Seattle?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, we're pretty refined in what we do. You bet.
Right. Cool. Well, that's it. That's all the questions.
Okay.
What we're going to do, so I'm going to take this video and I'll splice it together. We have some things going on and everything I'm saying right now. But is there, what was I going to say? I could just upload the video and then you could download it from like a Dropbox. Would that be the easiest way for you to get it?
Yeah.
Okay,
just put it on
cool.
Dropbox into my email.
Okay. And then what my goal is to have, you know, have some words going in between, like the questions. And so have it flow, you know, fade to black, fade back in, questions back and forth. And then this would be a good rough draft, or you could just use it straight up, put it on YouTube and blast it out to your list. Okay. So that being said,
That'd
that's
be great.
And
I really appreciate it, Sean. I'm looking forward.
Yeah. Hey, what's your next event you're going to?
I don't know yet. I haven't really thought it out. It might be one of the first responders. We have one in October back east that's we may go attend. It's a first responder conference. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a thing out here called SOAP. And I just attended that, and then I have another thing up north and then something down south. So there's a lot going down here in Southern California.
SOAP? Where's that one at?
Well, SOAP is like a local thing. It's SOA. Do you know Mark Gladden?
No.
I'll send you the link because I think there's a link to the website.
Okay.
And I'll connect you with him, and he may be a good contact for you. He has a lot.
If it looks cool, we might come down, because one of the things we're doing, Sean, is I want anything in California I want to be at.
Right.
I have a marketing push in California because our treatment program for 30 days is only $12,500.
Wow.
And for what we do and what we offer, it should be a lot more. And I know I think that if people in California knew that, I think California would be our market to keep us full. And
oh yeah, absolutely. And these are all the people where you know, they're all, so what SOAP is, or SOAP is, it's all doctors and treatment centers, detox, sober livings. They all get together, I think, once a month or once a quarter. I couldn't really stay the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I had to come to this interview.
Yeah, I would love to be there if you could send me the link.
Okay. Yeah. Now, where are you located?
I'm in Rockville. I mean, we're right outside the gates of Zion National Park, Utah.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, well, I'll send that on over and I'll splice this up and we'll get it over to you.
Thanks, man.
Okay, talk to you soon.